It's the beginning of All-Star Season 8, and quite frankly, with some of these All-Stars, I'm expecting a fight or two. Hey dolls, it's me, Wilma Fingerdoo, with the Fingerdoo review of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 8, Episode 1, and I, for one, have been looking forward to this season of All-Stars so much, but before we get into it, well, I need to thank T. Leafson for their generous tipper-doo through the YouTube button, which is just below this screen. Thank you, T. Leafson, you're a doll, seriously. I also want to welcome Princess Joanne Robertson to the Fingerdoo family on Patreon. I hope to see you at our next live chat, Joanne. We have 2 live chats a month over there on Patreon. You should join us, seriously. Now, Jorge, drink me! Oh, look at this! Is this red to go with my ensemble? Why, thank you, Jorge. What is it? A sour cherry slap? I love it. A lot of slapping going on in that glass. Seriously. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. This premiere was jam-packed. We had entrance looks, 3 runway looks, and 2 group performances. It was a lot to take in, so let's get to it. Jorge, you better have a refill ready just in case. I'm so serious. Season 12's Miss Congeniality hiding in closet was first through the workroom doors, looking as soft and... I can't do it. I don't know how she does. It's the gap. As soft and supple as ever. Kudos to her for eschewing the need to get herself a set of all-star lips. Seriously, she looked good. From that flawless face, that due to the gorgeousness of her structured suit, clearly having Nicki Minaj hating her makeup has done Miss Closet some good. Tell me I'm wrong. Season 7's card-carrying member of the Bitter Old Lady Brigade, Mrs. Kasha Davis, made her fabulous entrance by announcing she's an alcoholic. Who's 7 years sober, there's always time for a mocktail. It's been 8 years since she's been in the workroom, and she looks good. Hell, she looks fantastic. She's another one who seemed to avoid the All-Stars plump up. In fact, the only thing that seems to have gotten bigger with Miss Kasha Davis is her wig. I'm okay with that. Season 8's Naysha Lopez was next into the workroom, and clearly she broke out of gay prison, aka Roscoe's, to compete in All-Stars. No offense, Roscoe's. Naysha looked good, and whether she's been touched by an angel, again, she didn't do it just for All-Stars is what I'm saying. In fact, I would venture to say that this is a toned-down, more relaxed Naysha than we've seen before. Maybe this time round she's ready to enjoy herself and not get too caught up in the drama mama. Fingerdoo's crossed. Season 11's Kahana Montrese made her entrance next, and, well, clearly she's been touched by all sorts of angels. Not only did she get all-star improvements, but that wardrobe of hers got a glow up too. Clearly she was in a much better headspace than her season 11 premiere, because there were complaints. Season 13's Candy Muse was heard well before she was seen. What else is new? There wasn't much different about Miss Muse from the last time we saw her on Drag Race, especially that attitude. I know that she was the runner-up for her season, but hearing her saying that she almost won her season made me giggle. She was never going to win. The biggest surprise for me was the arrival of Season 6's Mean Girl. Not that she was there at all, but that there was so much less of her. It was the incredibly shrinking Darien Lake. She looked good. Here's hoping the 10 years she's been away have mellowed some of her mean girl tendencies so she can focus on what's important. Winning that crown for the big girls. Seriously. Another welcome surprise through the workroom doors was Season 5's Monica Beverly Hills. The self-professed pussy pioneer princess, in her trans flag interpretation of a true Beverly Hills cadet outfit, looked like $1 million. It's been over 10 years since this queen became the first Drag Race contestant to come out as trans on the RuPaul Drag Race runway in front of millions of viewers worldwide. She's a firebrand and an icon, and I, for one, am very excited to see her back, seriously. Next was Season 9's Pork Chop James Mansfield. I was as excited to see this queen on her season because I followed her on YouTube as I was to see her back now. For a queen who came off as timid and unsure 6 years ago, James has since built up a fantastic online following. She's created a name for herself with her wig company and custom wig work for customers like Trixie Mattel and, well, Paramount Plus's Dragon the Classics, the Brady Bunch crossover. as well as proving she's a talented actress in the VH1 holiday classic, The Bitch That Stole Christmas. She gets a pork chop now. The other queens are just scared of her. Seriously. Another season 9 queen was next through the workroom doors, Alexis Michelle. She looked good. Clearly she's learned to put together a winning look without anyone's help, finally. As well as she did on her season, it'll be interesting to see how she'll do without a Kris Jenner or Liza impersonation to fall back on. It'll also be interesting to see how quickly she makes it all about herself. Place your bets is what I'm saying. Another queen that I was excited to see walk through the workroom doors was season 2's Jessica Wilde. Season 2! She's not just OG, but as she herself said, she's OB. That stands for old bitch. Her words, not mine. My heart truly broke for Jessica back on season 2 because it was painfully clear that she was having problems with the language. That doesn't seem to be the case now, although she still can't say cock-a-doodle-doo. But then how often does that come up in conversation? Somebody call immigration because the next queen into the workroom has been given Brooklyn Heights a run for the money for the title of Queen of the North since she appeared on Canada's Drag Race Season 1 and UK versus the World Season 1. Yes, it was Jimbo who bounced her way into the workroom. Bounce being the operative word. Not only is Jimbo a breakout star of the Drag Race Sisterhood, but now she has the distinction of being the first queen from another country to compete on a regular season of All-Stars. Mr. Jimbo! Last into the workroom, but certainly not least, was Season 13's paper bag princess and Miss Congeniality, La Ree. I don't know how much of a glow-up this entrance look was, but anything's better than that unconventional materials gift bag look that sent her home on her original season. I'm so serious. Without much time to wait, Ru arrived to welcome the queens and let them know how Season 8 was going to go down. First of all, classic All-Star rules were in effect. The top queen would lip sync against a secret lip sync assassin, and if the top queen wins, well, she sends whoever she voted for home. If the lip sync assassin wins, then they send the queen the rest of the queens voted for home. There was one welcome bit of news. This year, the top prize is $200,000. Oh, Ru also teased that there were 2 ways for the queens to win, but they would have to wait to find out that second way because, well, first, I had a mini challenge to get through, a fashion extravaganza. The queens would have to present 2 looks on the catwalk. Category 1, Famous Then, a glamorous look inspired by years gone by. Category 2, Famous Now, a look that embodies modern-day fame. With 2 looks to judge, the queens wasted no time getting to that runway. Seriously. Kicking off round 1's Famous Then was Alexis Michelle, and, well, she set a high bar with her classic Hollywood crystal jumpsuit paired with a Norma Desmond-esque turban. Totally worthy of a Fingerdoo. And if you don't know who Norma Desmond is, you need to check out my latest edition of Makeup and Movies. Seriously, go watch it now. I'll wait. Fingerdoo for Alexis. Kahana Montrese was serving some classic Hollywood glamour too, but compared to Alexis, she was looking more ingenue than movie star. This still gave her a Fingerdoo. I didn't get Heidi's look. Was she Humpty Dumpty's wife? Why was her chin painted to look like it was cracked and peeling? I'm sorry, but I have to give this look a Fingerdoo. It sucks because I love that dress. It was gorgeous. MKD's Lucille Ball in the Ziegfeld Follies was a great color, but I did not like the outfit, so I gave her a Fingerdoo. Naysha Lopez's Chanel suit was a true classic if it had been Chanel. A real Chanel suit is at least 5 inches shorter in that jacket than that. Still, gave her Fingerdoo. Candy Muse's classic Ru Supermodel of the World look was fabulous, but really lived or died by that gorgeous wig. Fingerdoo for Candy. Darien Lake's Renaissance Festival look was more famous when than famous then for me, so I gave her a Fingerdoo too. What was she thinking? Monica's Egyptian look was beautiful, but at the end of the day, it was a leotard with a cape. Not famous enough for a Fingerdoo, in my opinion. Say. James' mariachi-inspired look was fun. I liked it better before she took the jacket off, but I still gave her a Fingerdoo. In the subcategory Who Wore It Better was Jessica Wilde in another Egyptian look that was a bit more involved than what Monica wore, so I totally gave her a Fingerdoo. Jimbo's Marilyn Monroe 7-year itch-inspired look was super fun, so well, I had to give her a big old Fingerdoo. Hey, her skirt was already up. Lala's classic Dorothy Dandridge red carpet Hollywood look was one of my faves, so I had no trouble giving her a Fingerdoo. And then we did it all again with category 2, Famous Now. Alexis Michelle's Kim Kardashian at the Met Gala inspired full body cover was a letdown for me, especially after her first look, so I totally gave her the finger don't. Kahana's nod to Lil Nas was so impressive that she finally got a Fingerdoo. Seriously. Heidi's big bow runway was beautiful, especially when you compared it to whatever it was she wore that first round, so I gave her a Fingerdoo. MKD's Kris Jenner realness wasn't very now, if you ask me, and lacked a certain amount of oomph compared to the other queens, so I had to give her a finger don't. From Chanel to Versace, Naysha Lopez was lovely, so, well, she totally got a Fingerdoo for her efforts. Seriously. Candy's look was okay, but it didn't wow me, so I gave her a pinky do. That's a half a Fingerdoo. Darien Lake's Billie Eilish was brave because it wasn't very fashionable, or drag for that matter. Okay, I hated it. Finger don't for Miss Lake. Seriously. Even though MBH was channeling Grammy winner Kim Petras, I thought this look was a little too subtle for the runway, even with those gorgeous boots, so I had to give her a finger don't. I didn't want to. I just loved James's JoJo Siwa inspired look because it was something I didn't expect James to wear, so I gave her a Fingerdoo for bravery. I mean, I think it would take some courage to wear that look, no? Jessica's Bad Bunny look looked almost as good on her as it did on him when he wore it. Seriously, Fingerdoo. Jimbo's social media diva was fun, but that thumbs up hair was the meme of her moment, so I appropriately gave her a thumb do. You see what I did there? It's too bad that Lala's social media look followed Jimbo's because it paled by comparison. Still, I gave her a Fingerdoo for that flawless skin tone match. What? It's hard to match a skin tone. Just ask Ru. As the queens got out of drag, Alexis admitted to having un petit crush on Lala. She's not the only one. Naysha admitted that she was surprised to see Jimbo in the workroom because, well, she's Canadian. Jimbo admitted she was back because she loves drag and competing, and Lala admitted to getting tongue-tied with the big words. I'll bet Alexis will help her untie those knots. And all this while Heidi was skipping around the workroom in the weirdest little denim gaff anyone had ever seen. And now that I've seen it, I can't unsee it. It haunts me. Then Ru returned with this week's Maxi challenge. The queens would have to perform an updated version of the Fenton Bailey and Randy Barbados, aka the Pop-Tarts hit, Money, Success, Fame, Glamour. To avoid a fight, Ru divided the queens into teams. Team 1, Alexis, Darien, Heidi, Kahana, Candy, and Naysha got Money, Success, Fame, Glamour, the Glam Rock mix. Team 2, James, Jessica, Jimbo, Lala, Monica, and Kasha got Money, Success, Fame, Glamour, the disco mix. They had to write their own lyrics and, as a group, create their own choreography. Team 2 got right down to the lyrics. Well, at least Monica and Mrs. Davis did. Over on Team 1, Candy was out for herself. Well, I'm having trouble picturing that. Team 1 took to the stage to work on their choreo first. Heidi got nominated to lead the children. Her choreo seemed pretty basic, even though a few of the queens looked lost. Jimbo thought their moves were more Fosse than glam rock. So did Candy. That seemed to shut Heidi down until the queens got lost with themselves and asked her to lead them again. Team 2's Jessica Wilde and Lala Ree took the choreo reins, but it was Jessica's opening moves that left more than a few of her teammates in a dust cloud of confusion. Back in the workroom, Naysha and Monica bonded over their worry of selling their choreo. Elimination choices were also discussed. Candy and Jimbo agreed not to vote each other out, but then they were just on tour together with Heidi and Closet, so of course those three have bonded. Jimbo admitted to making some bold choices on UK versus the World that put a target on her back, which sent her home. So this time she said she's keeping her cards as close to her chest as her big boobs will let her. So not at all, I'm guessing. And then it was time to hit the main stage where Broadway star, Disney icon, and John Travolta's best friend, Idina Menzel, joined Michelle, Ross, and Rue at the judges' table. Kicking things off were the Fame Tarts. I thought they all did a good job as a group, although I will admit no one's lyrics were a standout for me. I did think Kahana's look was more showgirl than glam rock, but I couldn't take my eyes off her. Somebody whose look I did like was Darian Lake. I mean, that wig alone was the star of the show for me, which was a good thing because it looked like Darian struggled with her choreo the most. If I had to pick a standout in this group, well, it would either be Candy or Kahana. There, I said it. Then it was the Glitter Chicks' turn. I thought they did a good job as well, but if I had to nitpick, I'd have to say that James's look wasn't very in keeping with the disco theme, if you ask me, especially next to outfits like Mrs. Kasha Davis's glittery jumpsuit. I'm also going to go ahead and say there was too much rapping in these lyrics to qualify it as a disco mix, although kudos to Jessica Wilde for belting it out a couple of times. Suck on that, Weather Girls. I also found James's inability to keep up with the choreo distracting, but in her defense, she still sold the hell out of it. Monica's performance, on the other hand, lacked luster in a big way. It was a big disappointment for me because I thought this was going to be her challenge to shine in, seriously. But there was no time to linger on coulda, woulda, shouldas because it was time for the runway. Category is famous forever. Timeless signature drag. Alexis looked gorgeous in her peach velvet fantasy, and she knew it, although she seemed to be prouder of that wig choice. Fingerdoo for Alexis. Darian's leopard outfit more than made up for her outfits from the mini challenge. She looked gorgeous. Seriously. Fingerdoo for Miss Lake. I couldn't have loved Heidi's runway more than I did. It was a gorgeous ode to Chris Tucker from one of my favorite films, The Fifth Element. If I could have given her 2 Fingerdoos, I totally would have. Kahana's Phoenix showgirl, and I mean the bird, not the place, was an out-and-out showstopper. There was so many details on that outfit, my eyes didn't know where to land. So, while they were trying to figure it out, I totally gave Kahana a Fingerdoo. Candy's runway was okay, but it was missing a bottom half, if you ask me. But what it lacked in fabric, she more than made up for in lotion. Her legs looked so slick, I'm surprised she didn't leave a slug trail. Fingerdoo for Candy and her wet, wet legs. It's too bad that Naysha Lopez's icy blue catsuit was so simple because I thought that color was breathtaking on her. That's why I still gave her Fingerdoo. Although I like James's ode to Mae West, I wouldn't actually call it timeless. I feel like she missed an opportunity to update a classic here. Also, I wasn't a huge fan of those oversized muffs. They kind of had an old bath mat feel about them, for goodness sake. Goodness had nothing to do with it. Oh. Jessica's rocker runway was a bit of a letdown compared to everyone else, so I had to give her a Fingerdoo as well. Jimbo's look, although a leotard, was elevated to a level of camp cartoon realness that put me in mind of the Freak Brothers from the 70s. Fingerdoo for Jimbo, seriously. Lala's asymmetrical red satin and sequin gown was so stunning that I couldn't give her a Fingerdoo fast enough. You heard me. Monica's purple beaded cocktail dress may not have been as OTT as some of the other queens, but she looked stunning in it, even if those boots didn't match. Fingerdoo for MBH. Just saying. Mrs. Kasha Davis's runway was fun, but was totally eclipsed by some of the other queens' looks. Thank goodness for that glittery wig-like headpiece, because, well, I'm a sucker for head-worn glitter. Needless to say, I gave her Fingerdoo. Then Rue announced that Heidi, Candy, Naysha, Jessica, Jimbo, and Kasha were all safe. So they thankfully frigged off to the Untucked Lounge. Then it was time for the judges' critiques. Alexis was first and was an obvious fave of the judges. Darian's runway looks from the mini challenge weren't a huge hit, and her difficulty with the group choreo didn't go unnoticed either. At least she looked good. Kahana was another huge fave with the judges. Hell, she rendered Idina Menzel speechless. I hope she doesn't sue. James's mini challenge looks were a huge hit, but her inability to keep up with the choreo was noticed. But Ross, for one, didn't care because she was so much fun to watch. He's not lying. Lala was another hit with the judges, and Michelle loved her famous then look in particularly. Although MBH looked good in the mini challenge, Michelle could feel her nerves, and Adina agreed that it held her back. Clearly, this news made Monica very emotional, bless. Then Ru announced that this week's top all-star was, surprise, surprise, Kahana Montrese. What a great way to redeem herself from her entire season 11 showing. That must have felt good. Alexis, James, and Lala were safe, which left Darian Lake and MBH in the bottom. Already I was worried for Monica. Back in the workroom, the queens all congratulated Kahana on her first win ever, but there wasn't much joy in Mudville where MBH and Darian Lake were concerned, especially MBH. That poor thing fell apart almost immediately in a shower of tears. It was such a heartbreak, so much so that when she was pleading her case to Kahana, I felt that Darian tried to create an emotional moment that was equal to hers for the other queens to keep MBH from swaying the vote. Am I the only one who's not trusting Darian Lake so far? While Darian pleaded her case to Kahana, Monica's emotions continued to get the better of her as she told the other queens how much being on Drag Race meant to her, which was the perfect moment for Alexis Michelle to make it all about herself. For reasons I still don't understand, Alexis collapsed into a puddle herself and wailed about how hard it is for her to be her, or some such nonsense. It was the most inappropriate moment and way for her to ruin Monica's moment, and I wasn't the only one who thought so. Candy and Naisha's faces said it all, if you ask me. Naisha. Thankfully, Adina Menzel showed up to give Alexis another reason to make it all about herself. Again. All kidding aside, Adina was lovely. I liked her advice that sometimes being yourself isn't enough, and in those moments, channeling someone that inspires you can be a big help too. Hey, Bette Midler, just saying. All too soon, Adina was whisked back to the main stage so the queens could vote for who they wanted to send home. Back on the main stage, this week's secret lip-sync assassin from Season 9 and All-Stars 3, not to mention Candy Muse's drag mama, was Aja LaBeija. She looked good. She and Kahana had to lip-sync to Beyonce's Freakum dress, and both these queens wanted it bad. Well, Kahana definitely did, because there was $10,000 in the balance, but Aja did not make it easy for her, I'll tell you what. There was tricks, there were flips, there were splits, and when the music died, Ru announced that it was, in fact, Aja who won the lip-sync, and that this week's 10 grand cash tip would be rolled over into next week's tip, making it a whopping $20,000. Everyone was gagged. But before Aja could let us know whose lipstick she had, Ru revealed the second way the queens could win on All-Stars 8. Drag Race will be posting the runway looks of the eliminated queens for the fans to vote on. They're calling it the Fame Games, and the queen who nabs the most votes by the end of the season will win $50K. I have to say, I thought this was a great idea. It allows the queens to show off the looks they spent all their shekels on, and it allows the designers hard work to get seen as well. So it's a win-win. Not $200,000 win, but still. So who was the queen who would be entering the Fame Games first? Aja revealed that the Season 8 queens had voted for Monica Beverly Hills. I'm guessing that they were all too scared of angering Miss Lake to vote her off the island so soon. I'll admit, I'm not surprised, but I'm so sorry to see MBH sashay so soon. So, there you have it. Episode 1 of All-Stars 8 done and dusted. What did you think? Were the right queens in the bottom? Did the right queen go home? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And while you're down there, please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it and subscribe to my channel if you haven't, because these are the 2 best ways you can support the Fingerdoo review here on YouTube. But if you'd like to show even more support, there are links in the description box for you to leave a tip or do, get some Wilma merch in my Redbubble store, and join the Fingerdoo family on Patreon. Until next time, miss me! Mwah, seriously. I'm so sorry that Monica went home first, but I don't know, for somebody who said she wanted it that bad and who got that emotional in the workroom, it did not look like she was that interested to be there, especially during that group number. She just, I don't know. I would have lit myself on fire and done cartwheels. I don't know. Just look at me. She just seemed very low key, low energy. Jimbo impressed me this week. I'm not a huge fan of hers, but I think she's in the running to win it all. I really do. Darian Lake disappointed me. That runway, I mean, I'm getting an impression from her wardrobe that she didn't get a lot of stuff made for this. I also feel the same's true with Mrs. Kasha Davis. I feel like those two queens are literally, I mean, I'm not saying queens have to have new outfits for Drag Race, but their outfits just seem kind of natty, you know, like they've been around a while and this is what they collected, and that's all well and good, but it's all stars. Sparkle Neely. Seriously. Not everyone can look as good as me all the time.